Shemai, a little bit of electric ukulele maintenance today. So something I've been meaning to do for ages, I've been asked quite a lot to do this. It's really looking at some very, very basic maintenance setup of our electric ukes, our steel string electric ukes. So today I'm going to be looking at the action, which is the height of the strings, and the intonation to make sure it's in tune all the way up the neck. So I'm using my Flight Vanguard electric ukulele, but it's the same principle for all electric ukuleles, the same really as it is for electric guitars and electric basses as well. The tools we need for today, and remember, I'm keeping this really basic. This is probably the most important. It's a type of ruler, and in fact it is meant for string instruments, and it's got various measurements already on here. We've got a couple of screwdrivers, and absolutely essential, especially for doing the intonation, but generally a tuner and a little Allen key. So those are the things you'll definitely need. You may decide you want to use a capo as well. I'll explain a bit more about that in a second. These are basic. I'm not even going to look at neck relief or using the truss rod or anything today. These are just trying to solve a couple of really basic setup issues, and if you're not confident about doing any of these, although these are really easy, take it to a guitar tech or a music shop or a luthier to have a little go. Okay, so first of all, it is actually called a string action ruler. Okay, it's metal, it's got very straight edges. You can't really do this with a normal ruler. All right, especially the plastic ones. Possibly if you've got a good length steel ruler, depends if it goes small enough, okay? But these are brilliant, cheap as chips to buy. It does actually say type of instrument on here as well, all right? But just to give an idea, it goes right the way down to millimeters on here. It has got it in imperial, I believe, as well, inches and so on. What I'm going to be using today are these bottom ones, which are the increments, which basically it's from 3.5 mil downwards. The secret with this is always do it a little bit, test it, little bit, test it. Now, why this is in mind, I had a lovely visitor a few weeks ago, Ukulele Al, brought his stunning Flight baritone over, and he wanted me to adjust the action on it. It only took me a few minutes to do, and when I showed him how easy it was, I thought, right, I've really got to crack on with this video. So the first place I'm actually measuring at is 12th fret, okay? And what you do is you rest this on as many frets as you can, and I'm looking for the measurement actually on 12th fret, and hopefully you can see this. All right, it's at roughly, well, it's certainly not at 3.5 mil. I'm going to slowly slide it down to get really where the top of the string is. And I would say that is somewhere between 2.5 mil and 2.75 mil. This uke was set up from Southern Uke Store, so it would have been set up. Okay, but I'm still going to go through the process and show you things. I mentioned at the beginning a capo. Now the reason I mentioned it is this ukulele has actually got, all right, you can see a 0 fret on here. Not all electric ukes have it, all right, and that just basically helps with the intonation on the first few frets. As it is, I don't need to worry, but if you have an electric uke which doesn't have this 0 fret and you want to sort out the intonation on the lower frets, what you do is put your capo on. Oop. And instead of measuring at the 12th fret, you're actually going to count down to the 17th fret. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And in theory, it should be roughly the same height. And if we go like that, it's definitely not 3.5. And we're looking, again, it's probably between 2.5 mil and 2.75 mil. So if you've got a ukulele that doesn't have a 0 fret and you want to absolutely make sure it's bang on, stick a capo on the 1st fret up here and then measure on the 17th fret. So we're at roughly, I'm going to put it just there in between, or the very end of 2.5 mil. I'm just going to show you now how to lower it a little bit just to give an idea. Okay, so, and it's the same principle for all the strings then. So down on our bridge here, you can see there are 2 holes here for my Allen key. All right, and each string has got 2, and you have to do these the same, and it sort of balances the string. So I want to bring it down a fraction, so I'm going to tighten it, in other words, go clockwise. All right, but the secret is do it a little bit at a time. Okay, so in this case, there's my Allen key. I'm going to do 1/4 and then do another quarter the other side. Okay, and hopefully now, let me tune it. So I've tuned the string. I am now going to see, has that lowered it at all? I would say, now I only brought it down 1/4, but I would say that's at the lower end of my 2.5 there now, okay? Possibly even lower than that, all right? So then I need to check that there's no fret buzz, because that's the worst thing. All right, there doesn't seem to be any fret buzz. What's going to happen is if you bring it too low, you're going to get buzzing frets. Yeah, taking a good look at that, I think that's probably down to about 2.25 now. Happy with that. And it's exactly the same principle for all the other strings. All right, now it's just up to you how low you have it. Turn right on the little Allen key holes by here. That, in effect, pushes in the screw and lowers the string. A lot easier than sorting out the action on an acoustic ukulele, because that involves filing down the saddle quite a lot. I have made a video on that, okay? But this, in comparison, easy peasy. So you got the action taken care of, and you're playing it and you're thinking, I'm not sure if that's always in tune. Well, the very first thing you need to think about with your intonation isn't necessarily the instrument, it's your technique. Okay, I have talked a little bit about this. These are such lighter strings that lots of us are used to. You don't need to overpress them. Very often, being a little bit too firm with your left hand, you're actually pulling the string, which in effect alters the intonation. Okay, so before you really go worrying about having to alter the instrument, think about your intonation. But again, I'm keeping this really simple. All right, I'm going to show you now how you can check your intonation, and if you think it's slightly off, how to alter it. First job you need to do is to see if the actual string is in tune with itself. So my G string is slightly flat, and you've only got to turn these a fraction. There we are, that's in tune now. Okay, I'm going to go straight in at my 12th fret. Now that is slightly sharp at 12th fret. Let me just check the rest of the strings, the rest of the frets. You can see they're all slightly sharp. So what I'm going to do is coming down this end now. Here is my adjuster at the end, and what this is going to do is basically lengthen or shorten the string. Okay, so I need it to go slightly longer, so I'm going to loosen the string off just a little bit. And again, like doing the action, you do it a tiny little bit at a time and check it. So I'm going to do here, the intonation has gone out of tune. All right, so let's tune it back up again. And then check at 12th fret. Still a fraction out, so I do it a little bit more. That's in tune. Can we see now? There's my 12th fret. Let me make sure it's staying in tune. Tiny, tiny bit more. So in effect, I've done 3/4, I think, now. Ooh. And in tune at the 12th fret. So the A and the E are near enough. The C is a fraction, so I'm just going to pull the C down a tiny little bit. There we go, and the C is in tune as well. If you didn't know how to sort your action out, in other words, lower your strings a little bit, or check the intonation is correct on here, hopefully this has helped. Action, you are lowering or making these saddle bits higher, okay? Lower is going to bring the strings down. And to check your intonation, you play it open and you play it at 12th fret, and then you alter it using those adjusters at the bottom. I have kept this very, very basic. These are the jobs that I would quite happily do in the house without any worries at all. All right. If you are not happy about doing them, take them to a tech or a luthier or a music shop. Or even better still, try and get it set up from a music shop where you're buying it from, okay? But this is just to give you a little rough idea today. So that feels a lot better, and it's surprising how a tiny little amount makes a difference to your playing. I do hope you've enjoyed that or found it useful, or both. okay? I am keeping this really basic today, all right? If you'd like to support me here on Ukulele Wales or on my other channel, The Ukuleleans, I do have a Patreon page and I'll pop a link in the description below. If you've got any comments or questions though regarding today's video, please feel free, leave those below. Give us a like if you've enjoyed and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you for watching.